Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to click subscribe if you enjoy my videos. We're well on our way to 1 million subscribers and your support means everything to me. And today we're going to be talking about Satoru the Infiltrator. For 1 blue and 1 black, it's a legendary creature, human ninja rogue, 2/3 with menace, and whenever Satoru the Infiltrator and or one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card. So initially when I looked at this I thought, wow, this is a pretty well statted 2-drop that has a pretty relevant ability. It could be a nice build around, and obviously it's intended for you to use it with stuff like ninjutsu, because ninjutsu means that the card isn't cast, so it's just going to come into play and you're going to draw a card. But then the more I thought about this, I realized another interesting part of the card that I initially overlooked, and that is that it says if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them. That actually opens a bunch of different doors, and the first thing I thought was how broken this could be in a shell with 0 mana creatures and affinity creatures. So traditionally affinity has been a deck that has seen more play in other formats and not necessarily as much in Commander, but this could change that for a bunch of different reasons. There are now critical mass of creatures that cost 0 or 1 colorless whose mana value can be reduced by any sort of effect such as Cloud Key, which is going to make them all cost 1 less. If you had a deck full of such creatures, you'd be able to play this on turn 2, immediately play a 0-drop to draw a card, and as long as you were hitting fairly well, you'd possibly be able to chain through a lot of cards in your deck. Now, you might not be able to go infinite or win instantly on that turn, although there's probably a bunch of ways you can do that, but you'd certainly be able to draw a ton of cards and set yourself up to do a lot of stuff on the turn after once you have access to full mana. That means that this could potentially be a pretty powerful combo deck if that ends up panning out. I'm not sure if it will, but there's also a bunch of other mechanics that this works with as well. Not only ninjutsu is going to work with this, it's obviously going to work very well with the new plot mechanic. That's where it's intended to be used as well. Being able to cast stuff for free means you're going to get the trigger off of this. Because of that, it also works well with suspend, which has a lot of support. But another potential use, which might see play outside of Commander, are with any cards that have an alternate cost that doesn't involve paying mana. So something like Grief, which will require you to exile a card from your hand, would actually trigger this because you haven't actually spent any mana to cast the spell. There's also any number of mechanics that put creatures straight onto the battlefield, including of course any reanimation effect, so that's pretty nice as well, and that opens up so many different avenues for you to exploit this ability and draw cards that I think it may have potential as a really strong commander. Coming down for 2 mana and having menace kind of pushes you towards the ninjutsu route, but there's really so many different ways that you can go with this, and any kind of reanimate card is going to be fantastic in there too. Because of all of these different applications and the potential of him having a combo deck built entirely around that ability, I think that this card is actually very pushed and will be seeing quite a bit of play in the Commander format, whether as a commander or as a card in the 99. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care.